Hello all and welcome to the Court with the Digester. Today I've got a rather serious one that I need you to engage with, and I know that you will. I've included the link to the article in the Dubras. This article is from lilymaynard.com. Sister Salons Barnes Lewis is the heading of the URL, but actually what it was Time to Talk, a sister salon event with Hannah Barnes and Helen Lewis. Hannah Barnes, of course, the writer of Time to Think. And then, in addition, some information about the invitations that were extended to people who are involved in gender identity ideology at that very event to come and speak. I've made the point quite clear, I think, in some mulling and rambling that I did at some point last week, that it is absolutely imperative from my perspective that the people that are involved in gender identity ideology and pushing it, which is, in essence, is anybody who is playing the game, right? I don't care. Oh, well, I'm a she, he. Well, yeah, I don't care. It's sort of, right? Okay, I'm not interested in anything you have to say. I'm not conversing with these people. And I'm of the opinion that we shouldn't be conversing with them at all, right? Because to have a conversation with these people is to presume or to say that there is a debate to be had. There is no debate to be had. Now, I can then be accused of, and rightly so, saying that there's no debate, like Stonewall did, right? There's a reason Stonewall said there was no debate, because they knew a debate would destroy it. The problem we've got now is the debate is destroying it. And the last thing we need is somebody reaching across the aisle and saying, but there is a middle ground. There is no middle ground. I hate to tell you that, but there isn't. You know, from my perspective, there's no middle ground. And I think that this important blog from Lily Maynard, which was published on January the 19th, 2024, is something that you should engage with, even though it's quite a long read. Get yourself a coffee. Because within this blog is information that you need to know. And that information is about individuals who are involved in this fight, who shouldn't be, who are invited to speak on this issue, who shouldn't be, who are invited to become part of something which they are not by definition, because of their belief in this idea of gender identity and gender nonsense, where they can flit between the feminine and the masculine. No. Right, and then they pretend that they don't care about any of the enforcement, but they're still part of the problem, because the problem comes with some really difficult ideas. Now, in particular, what jumps out after you've read the review of this salon, which is, it's called Sister Salon. They get together to discuss things that are relevant, and people would have had Hannah Barnes there to talk about what happened at the Tavistock. Really important to understand exactly what happened at the Tavistock, and particularly to be able to engage with the work that Hannah has done on that. That's very, very important. And then Stephanie Davis-Arai was there from Transgender Trend, who we know as a friend to the movement and one of the pioneers, who has led to much change on this landscape, which is damaging children so badly. Stephanie Davis-Arai said at Transgender Trend, "There are medical ethics that, to me, say you don't prevent a child's growth at a critical stage of growth that turns them into adults unless there is a life-saving reason for doing it. We have lost our ethics on this issue because there is a faith that underpins it." Right? Stephanie Davis-Arai there encapsulates the problem that I'm having with this, which is this attempts to reach across the aisle. These are religious zealots. It doesn't matter whether they're the quiet ones or the noisy ones. They are religious zealots. They are a cult, a fervorous cult that is predominantly worried about sex. It's mostly about sex. Strip all the crap away. It's sex. It's male sexuality. It's men wanting access to stuff. Strip all the crap away. That's what it is. And what Lily says is, when this particular faith penetrates upwards into government, what Lily writes is, when this particular faith penetrates upwards into government and downwards into schools and throughout society, should people who are believers in the faith be involved with the new gender clinic hubs that Hilary Cass is setting up? Hannah responded to this, saying, "Should they be running them and in charge of them? No," said Hannah, adding that stopping anyone who'd ever worked in GIDS from working there would also not be a great idea, as the whistleblowers would also be ruled out. She said she found it staggering when she reported for Newsnight that it was considered that Polly Carmichael might be on the interview panel. She wasn't, but to even consider that she might be beggars belief. It does beg a belief. You understand me when I say that this reach across the aisle, fence-sitting, non-declarative nonsense will end us. And Lily Maynard with fervour in this very interesting and very worthwhile blog, identifies some of the reasons why. From a discussion that took place at Salon Sisters, a meeting of women to discuss these important issues, and the women who have done the work, the women who have done the digging, the women who have found the information, the women who have held the line, those women. And you think that those women are going to be happy if you put a hand across the line and we end up with these men being able to stay playing out their fetish in public? That you're the side of it that means that young girls think they have to do this will end up, medicalised, sterilised and mutilated genitally. There is no debate. And the reason I take that position as there's no debate is because I'm now worried about people on our side who seem intent on finding a middle ground with this fetishistic, perverted cult. There is no middle ground. End of. Men are women, women are men, two sexes. Suck it up, buttercup. So when you read through the blog, and please do, genuinely, this is a very interesting blog indeed about an event, you will then hear you will then see other various things that were said by people that are really interesting and worthwhile engaging with. And then addition onto the end of it is in reference to the photograph of Judy Bindel, Kathleen Stock, and a man called John Went. People kicked back against this picture, right? And they were right to do so. Kathleen was obviously concerned because I would say this, right? Kathleen was obviously concerned because within a minute of him arriving, then somebody arrived and took the picture and who stood by Kathleen Stock. It's like she got caught. She says, I don't know him and I'm not responsible for his views or actions, so please do get stuffed with your pseudo-friendly ladies bollocks. I don't know you either, mate. Right? So this is Kathleen responding to somebody. It's right? There's no need to go verbosely over the top and get really angry and control those emotions, folks. We have to, otherwise it unseats us. It unseats us and it makes us look like fools. But he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there. He really shouldn't. You need to make a decision about this. We all need to make a decision about this. Right? But Went is a trickster. I'm afraid that's what he is to me. He describes himself in many ways as identified by Lily here. He's a non-binary, bipolar, ex-evangelical Christian, ex-missionary, suicide survivor, a bibliophile, logophile, a xenoglossophile, sibophile, unophile, porphyrophile, and morphiles. And a link from his website leads to a page which speculates cheerfully as to whether hebephilia and zoophilia should be included under the LGBT banner. John, you're a grown man, right? I've met you, and I told you there was no compromise when I met you. You obviously haven't learned a damn thing. Stay away from women's events, even if you're invited. Stay out of the movement. It's nothing to do with you. You are the problem, sweet cake. Grow up. That's my message to John. All right? It's that simple. We do not allow these LARPing men to take the spotlight. We do not allow these LARPing men to influence decision making. You cannot have these LARPing men involved. On the flip side of that, if somebody's photographed one of these LARPing men, it doesn't mean they are involved, right? It's like, calm your nipples. Or whatever they say. But this is an important blog and I want you to go and read it. All right? Let's try and stay in the land of the real and recognise where the problem is. And then we can say to other people who may have a slightly different view to us, you have to understand the dangers involved in this. It's just surreal. Go read it, okay? No LARPing men. They have nothing to add and everything to detract from what I see as a vital grassroots movement. If you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I'll see you later.